like actually doing things, you will see more car vlogs. And I know some of you will be very happy with that. I may need to put my glasses on. I have the most sensitive eyes, like to light. My eyes are sensitive to light, and light in general or heat gives me migraines so easily. So if I'm walking around somewhere and I'm squinting a lot, let's try this. If I'm walking around somewhere and I'm squinting a lot, like I will legitimately get a migraine because I just can't do it. Anywho, I feel so disheveled because it is only 46 degrees out, which is so annoying because it is May and I'm so tired of the frozen tundra. But you know, what are you gonna do? I am on my way to go hang out with my cousin, who is also one of my closest friends. And this year has really put our relationship to the test a lot. I think this year was just it was a crazy year because for me, it was quite a good year. And in a lot of ways, but in some other ways it was not. And one of them is just my friendships in general. And so somebody had requested that I talk about sort of making friends in your adult life, especially if you are in your late 30s or over 40, how difficult that can be. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'd say for me, like, I make friends easy. Let's say connection. I think that's the first thing is, like, I'm really weird about using the term friend loosely. Like, I don't feel that I have a lot of friends. I do have people that I talk to or I'm acquainted with or I hang out with, but as far as someone that's like my friend, I use that term very sparingly. And I think in general, as you get older, you realize that you potentially will have like a lot less friends than you did in the past. Because your criteria for not only like who you trust and who you want in your life changes. Like, we all change like that, but there are points in your life where you kind of need to take stock of everything, and friendships are one of them, because as we change and grow, sometimes our friendships will change and grow too, and sometimes they won't, and we have to be able not only to recognize that, but be able to kind of acknowledge that that's really what is going on. As adults, you know, as a single mother, and as, you know, I work full-time, I also have a YouTube channel and a relationship, I don't have a ton of extra time. So I think in general, like, for me, it's not the making friends, it is the maintaining friendships. That is a total different thing. And I have found, especially over COVID, that there are some friendships that, I mean, I was so close with these people, I would have never imagined that COVID would have affected our relationship so much, but it has. I'm hoping those relationships can recover. That's kind of what I'm doing, is just like, I'm going to focus on strengthening and rebuilding that relationship, and it does take effort. Like, we don't live far, but we live about 20 to 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes from each other. So like, just her work schedule is crazy, you know, my schedule can be busy, you know, I just relocated part-time, so part of my time I'm not even gonna be here. There's a lot going on with my son, he's getting jobs, he's, you know, moving forward in his life, and so there's just a lot going on, and there's a lot that needs to be different. I've been putting a lot more time and effort into my YouTube channel, into the editing. It does take so much time. Like, just crazy side note, like, I read comments sometimes and I'm like, if you knew the amount of time not only do I put into researching, and I've said this before, so for people who've heard it before, I know, blah blah blah, you spend a lot of times, but I do. And so it is a significant part of my life at this juncture. So I've had to make an effort to try to fix some relationships that have been affected over COVID, and also over the course of my relationship, though I met my boyfriend during COVID, so it's not like, you know, when you start a new relationship, again, as you get older, there's so many nuances to that, because, you know, he's my boyfriend, but he's my friend too, and that's really important. Like, and in general, you know, I wanted to build a strong relationship with him, and then there's also like his family and my family and his child and my child, and, you know, there's just a lot that goes into building. So much lip gloss on. There's just a lot that goes into building a healthy relationship, especially when you get older. So that's another thing. And I did probably divert more of my time to him over COVID, but also it was COVID, so we spent time together, and because of that, we didn't spend time with a lot of other people to be safe. You know, we kind of put our relationship, you know, ahead of some things, because we had to, not because we wanted to. So yeah. So as far as making friends, I think making friends is for me, you do the same things that you would do for dating. They do have like apps and things. I'm kind of weird with that because, like, I'm an energy person. I gotta click with you in some way. You know, I have to jazz with you in some way. Like, I have to get a vibe off of somebody, so it's hard to do that. Although I met my boyfriend on Hinge, but, you know, we still had to vibe, like, even like texting and talking on the phone. We still I needed to catch a vibe before I would even meet him. So I think that as an adult, it's like you need to take stock of where you spend your time, what you want to spend your time doing, and think about like a couple different things. Are there people that you have previously been friends with that you feel like renewing a friendship with them would be beneficial? I have relocated, and I know some people have also relocated, so I'll speak about that part. But just as an adult, you know, think about that. Are there people that you'd want to reach out to and maybe try to rekindle a friendship with? And have that honest conversation. Just be like, guess what? We fell off for whatever XYZ reason, or maybe I didn't even realize it happened, or, you know, whatever. Just be honest and be like, yeah, we fell off, but I didn't want that to happen, and I would like to, you know, put in the effort to making a friendship work. People really respond to that type of stuff very well, because, you know, I'm sure it's happened to them, you know, with them, and they have done that before with different relationships. We have so much pulling on our time that it's just crazy. And so that's why I think in general, no matter if it's a relationship or if it is friendship, to focus on forging and finding and working out relationships that fit into the rest of your life. You know, this might be a controversial statement, but you're more likely to spend more time with people if you have something in common. My cousin and I have a lot in common, but we're also family, so I'm always very, you know, I haven't been the best in terms of reaching out and doing things, and that's why I said, you know, this is something that's important to me, so I need to make sure that I rekindle this relationship, because we used to talk all the time on the phone. We used to, you know, spend every weekend together or every other weekend. So, you know, again, a lot of that had to do with COVID, because we like to do the same things. We like live music, we like the same bands, you know, so we were doing stuff together that we would normally do, and also together, if that makes sense. So I think COVID like put a wrench in things. I feel so badly for people who maybe relocated right before COVID, or, you know, just didn't have a huge like friendship or support system or family in general during COVID. I just can't imagine how isolating that would have been. I don't mind spending a lot of time by myself, and, you know, I had my bubby with me, my son, but I'm an only child, and I really think that does make a difference, because you're used to kind of just being on your own a lot, or maybe that's just my experience. My son's the same way though. He's a homebody too. He's, you know, he's branching out now, and I think it'll change quite a bit when he gets a job, which, you know, he's a great kid, so I'm happy with that. You know, so think about those different things. Do you like art? Do you like, you know, to work out? Do you like fitness? Do you like outdoorsy things? My one friend actually went on the Bumble, but the friendship side of Bumble, and she actually met some really cool friends off of that. So, I mean, that's an option. I've never personally used it, but I do have a friend who did use it. But like, you know, maybe strike up a conversation. Sometimes you just have to like make the first move. If you notice someone at your gym and you go to the same exact classes all the time, you know, maybe strike up that conversation. You know, and just realize that friendships as an adult are like not as incubated as they were when you were a kid. Like, you kind of were like friends with, you know, it was by default almost, like the people that were on your road or in your homeroom, or, you know, was in your same grade, or, you know, on the same teams with you. As an adult, we kind of more have choices on those people that we let in or don't let in, and sometimes it's easier just not to let anyone in. I am horrible when it comes to trust. I don't trust anybody for any reason. It takes me a really, really long time. And sometimes I'm still half skeptical. I think I studied human behavior too much, and I also like am obsessed with true crime. So I think I'm always like side-eyeing everybody all the time, like they're the next, you know, serial killer. But I mean, they could be. Anywho, but you know, I think, you know, that's kind of my advice. You know, if you're struggling in different ways, like struggling with speaking to people, or if, you know, we do have issues in our life, we have traumas, you know, we've been hurt by people, and part of the reason that you're struggling finding friends is because of some, you know, internal pain or some hurt that you've been through. You know, seek therapy. Therapy is way more accessible than it used to be. It's also way more accepted than it used to be. But I think that it's really important, you know, seek out therapy to help heal those wounds and those issues, which I think naturally when we become, you know, more whole, or when we begin that healing process, we can, you know, attract more people. You know, maybe go to different support groups and meet people that way. Like I said, you know, seek, I would suggest, and again, this is just my 2 cents, you know, seek out people in areas that you want to be in, you know, in general. And it is going to take going out of your comfort zone, whether that's going out of your comfort zone to do those sort of things that you want to do but you're afraid of in order to, you know, attract people. If it's going out of your comfort zone for actually just like starting a conversation with someone, I've unfortunately never had a problem talking to people, ever. I often choose not to talk to people. Like, I'm a chatty person. I have ADHD. I'm a chatty person. Oh my god, something shifted in my back seat, and like, I don't know what I thought it was. Serial killer. I'm naturally like a chatty person, so I never had issues with that. My issue wasn't, again, making friends. My issue's always been maintaining friendships. Other thing that I struggle with in maintaining friendships is just the fact that I'm going past the lake, and it is so pretty. I live near Lake Erie, so it is just amazing. Anyway, my other issue with maintaining friendships is just that if I feel hurt, I tend to shut down. If I feel that I'm not getting the attention or the affection, and I'm not saying like you have to spend every second with me, but if I feel like there was a level of attention being given to me and then that changes, like I feel like I pick up on every little nuance of somebody, and that's part of like I have ADHD induced anxiety. You can kind of look up what that is. Basically, with people, some people with ADHD have a hard time filtering things out. My thing is I have a hard time filtering out other people's emotions and energy, and therefore it does really affect my mood. I think I said in my last car vlog that I can be moody, and that's partially why. And so if I feel like even something slightly off, I'm just like over it. I'm like, I'm going to not talk to this person, like I'm not feeling it. So that's something I really have to get over. And there is this thing, so when I was studying to be a therapist, one of the therapies, my degree is actually in applied behavioral science, so I'm a behaviorist. So there was this one, you know, theory and method of therapeutic intervention in terms of being a behaviorist, which is called CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. I used CBT when I did therapy for kids. It works very well with them. But in cognitive behavioral therapy, they sort of have this like, you know, you can do it in 3 circles, you can do it in a triangle, but let's pretend that it's a triangle. And you have thoughts at one point, you have emotions on one point, and then you have actions on one point. People always feel like when they are dealing with challenges that they have to address all their thoughts, their feelings, and their emotions in order to see change or to grow or what have you. But that's not necessarily true. You can interrupt that pattern at any point. You know, you can interrupt that pattern at any thought. If you decide, like, you know what, this is how I'm feeling, so I'm going to go to therapy to start learning some techniques, and let's say it's talk therapy, and start learning some techniques to, you know, interrupt those negative patterns. So if I'm like, oh man, I am like so stupid. If I'm like, okay, no, we're not going to say that about myself, and learn to say something differently. This is such a simplistic example, but then I will automatically start changing the other 2. If that makes sense to you, please put that down below. If you want more explanation and maybe a specific video on cognitive behavioral therapy, I can do that, but this is just more in conversation and context. So that's a lot. Anyway, so I guess that's my start of this conversation. Maybe that, you know, maybe we need to talk about this more. There are several people that asked me to talk about this, so if you want me to elaborate on some things or do like a part 2 or something, we can do that. But what I would say is, you know, understand as an adult, you're not going to have as many friends as you would maybe as a kid, and that's okay. And maybe your friends are different than you would have normally been friends with in the past, and that's okay. And wanting to rekindle a friendship with someone when you aren't friends currently, that's okay too. But if you want to seek out new friends, say you've relocated, you know, seek out doing the things and being the places that you want to be, and then seek out people in those places or doing the things that you want to do, because then you naturally have something to connect with, because you naturally like to do those things. And maybe, you know, look into some, you know, meetup situations, or if you're, you know, in the professional world, maybe going to some like young professional events, and, you know, things where the pressure isn't on the friendship per se, but just meeting people, you know, doing some networking, and, you know, try doing that. So I hope that that was helpful on any level. I'm going out with my cousin, and I just realized I have no rings on. I hate that. If anyone else hates that, I almost never ever wear earrings. You almost never see me wear earrings. There's a story behind that. I can tell that another time. And I don't have to wear necklaces because of my wigs, because it gets caught. But I really like to have rings on, and so I'm hoping I have one like that I threw in my bag, but I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. So the wig that I'm wearing right now is, I think I was wearing it in my last car vlog. So this is like the 6th time now that I'm wearing the same wig. And this is Noriko's Angelica in the color Macadamia LR, Macadamia Long Root. So I'm wearing her. And then I'm also wearing this hair tie. One of those synthetic hair accessories that I was getting, and it's Hairdo's Color Splash, and it has like blue in it. So it's just like a stretchy synthetic hair band, and then you wrap it around, but it has like blue in it, just to sort of like do something a little different. So yeah, that's what I have for you. If you have another topic for a car vlog, please put that down below. I will be doing them more regularly. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And if you have subscribed, you're one of my little doll babies, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.